Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is October Friday the 13th. Ooh, spooky. Now, I have dropped the ball, I believe, here a little bit. So, we have a quest here to play priest cards. We have a quest here to play priest cards. These should have been traded out, but I think I missed a day in which I could have traded. So I'm going to trade the druid cards and then win 3 games of any class, and that's good enough for me, I suppose. Tavern Brawl wise, we're already done, so we don't have to worry about that. Which means, I guess we can look at our collection and see if we have any cards we can dust. Apparently we have 5 of them. I must have opened the pack and not done that. Up to 1950 on dust. Where are we trying to get on the gold, particularly? I guess I'm trying to get to 100, or at least 50 before I do an arena run. Today might be an interesting day to do an arena run. I'm certainly having some thoughts here as far as what I am supposed to... I guess I'm supposed what I can do to kind of rebound on my channel. I guess we're playing as a priest all day today. I don't know if we should potentially go back to let's play ranked. Might as well. If we should go back to silent play, because honestly, it's a little premature, but it's been a couple weeks at least, and doing these short streams isn't really working for my channel. Like, honestly, when people come on and they see me playing a silent stream, they either talk to me on the chat more, or they complain about me being on the being in silent play. And even that one comment of silent play is adding so much to comments on the stream in general that it's getting more views. Like I was getting a lot of views per stream when I was doing long 5-hour streams. Furthermore, on the other hand, like those are 2 phrases you shouldn't say back to back. Just going for 5 hours was getting me a lot of views too, and now I've seen that down. So while a pre-recorded Hearthstone video still is only getting almost no views, the live streams are barely getting 10. Some of that may be going back to school, people going back to school, but that's not something I can ignore on its face, because if this channel is to succeed, it has to have an audience that's year-round, or have some viewers that are year-round, maybe not the same viewers. And I'm not really getting any extra work done after streaming. Like, my ambition has been to always move on to the next game, but it doesn't seem like it really happens. So let me know in the comments, I suppose. Let me know your feedback, but I think we're probably gonna go back to silent non-play, silent play, because when I end the stream anyways, I spend most Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays continuously playing to get the to get the rest of the daily quests done. Particularly on Fridays, because Fridays are the day I have to get all of it done. Don't be shy. Let's we've got a decent amount of news, and I guess I'm not completely awake yet. I'm moving a little slow. So let's start going through the news and get that done quickly. I look at the news kind of as a buffer for people to find that I'm live and hop on the chat too. There's YouTube is absolutely worthless, really, in so many different ways, but in this case it's really worthless in the fact that it doesn't announce when you're live to anybody half the time. More than half the time. It's not even 50%. No, it's like 1 out of every 6 times it might actually announce that you're live. And that's unacceptable. And meanwhile, YouTube Gaming on Twitter is promoting the Clash of Clans tournament, the next Clash of Clans tournament, during advertisement instead of fixing their service or promoting any actual YouTube streamer that would need any promotion.
In the light's name.
So there's a game apparently called Star Control 2, and the developers are going to unite for a passion project sequel. When did Star Control 2 come out? Because I've never heard of this game. Well, Star Control, the rights to Star Control belonged to Accolade, and then they went to Atari, then they went to Stardock. So Stardock is a company I think I've heard of.
Pain or suffering. I can't decide. Last chance.
Let's see. And it's a company called Toys for Bob. That's an interesting name for a company. Are gonna work so Stardock is kind of licensing it to Toys for Bob. This is an interesting story, because I'm just gonna have to Google Star Control. Like, how could there be? Well, I guess the truth is there's probably lots and lots of games, particularly PC games, that I'm not familiar with. Let's see. Star Control: Famous Battles of the Yoroquan Conflict, Volume 4, or simply Star Control, is a science fiction video game developed for Toys for Bob, which was published by Accolade in 1990. Let's bring up the zoom so I can read this a little bit easier. It's released for the Amiga in the 1990 and MS-DOS, Mega Drive in 1991. So Mega Drive and Genesis, Commodore 64 Amstrad. So this is a really old game. Wow, and I'm looking at the pictures. I can definitely see that it is an old game. Good news is I don't really have much work to... Star Control 2 was published in 1992 for DOS, so it was later ported to 3DO. And then there's several other Star Control spin-off type things. Alright. Interesting.
Anduin versus Anduin. The
moving on with the news, I suppose that's like, it doesn't really mean anything, but it is odd to see a really, really old DOS game that come back. Like, if I was to think of really old DOS games that I would want to come back, I would think give Leisure Suit Larry yet another a chance, because that name has some recognition. Battle Chess, Where in the World is Coming, San Diego would work. But you really would have to go to the top of the top as far as recognizable games. A lot of old PC games that aren't playable nowadays are not playable because they weren't worth playing, frankly. Like, nobody's going to bring back something that didn't sell well in the first place. Nobody remembers it, and even through DOSBox it won't run. So there must be some passion there, at least by the creators.
Don't be shy.
The next story we have is God Eater 3's first screenshots are out here. Let's see, which really isn't much information I can tell you other than the screenshots look fine. Like, it's an RPG where you fight monsters, real-time RPG style game. He's fighting a giant spider-like fire monster. Half fire, half spider, I'd say. The interesting thing about the God Eater series is that it's coming to the West for the first time. Let's see, let's go ahead and hit this, and hit this, and then do this,
In the light's name.
and then do this, and then return. Let's see. Here's an interview with Ben Brode, the guy in charge of Hearthstone, and man, they just bullet pointed this interview. Interesting. So casual mode. Ideally, casual mode is low stakes Hearthstone. It isn't hardcore competition where you need 100% to be focused and available. Sadly, the truth is, I would argue at least, that casual mode fails to be that half the time. A lot of people hop into casual mode in the hopes of getting victories for daily quests and fail miserably because there's so many other people trying to do the exact same thing. Casual, like ranked, still has an MMR system, but it's internal, you don't see it, so even when you're playing casual, you're still getting matched up by people, and maybe that's why I still well, yeah, that might explain why I don't succeed any better in casual mode than anything else. Here he clearly says the goal in casual is to keep you near a 50% win rate, just like in ranked. So there's no getting away from that 50%. The better you're doing in casual, the more likely you'll see better decks, usually meta decks. So he just kind of confirmed things that I hadn't heard said out loud, but was felt certainly to be the case. It's frankly, therefore, pointless to ever play casual. Like, because it doesn't give you anything at all. It doesn't give you an advantage at winning. It doesn't give you a chance of playing against somebody who is has worse decks any more than playing ranked. You might as well just always play ranked. Casual mode shouldn't exist in the format it exists. Ranked play says Pirate Warrior and Secret Mage are currently 14% of the meta legend rank. Of the meta at legend rank. Which is to say that well, about 1/6 of the time, yeah, at legend rank you're playing either Secret Mage or Pirate Warrior. These archetypes at rank 20 are only 5% of the meta. Okay, that's good. That means only 1/64th of the times you see that, if you were to guess that. Oh, no. 1/20th of the time? Yeah. Yeah. I kind of would disagree with that thought, though. But he's got the numbers, so I don't want to say Ben Brode's wrong. But it seems like even at rank 20, you're playing a lot more meta than you would think. Let's see. Most active Hearthstone players are between rank 20 and rank 18. Here's a great point to point out. It's like most players are between rank 20 and 18. That's why this game rather sucks. More than anything else.
I don't have enough mana.
Is because you are, even if you're an average player, you're not getting anywhere with it. You would think that most players would be between rank 20 and rank 10, but no. Just for fun mode. Ben Bro, there isn't a great opportunity right now to play just for fun decks and not have to worry about the meta. Adding in a mode for players to have fun only really isn't possible. You can't force players to play bad decks. I think you could try. You could certainly try.
In the light's name.
This is gonna kill me. Whatever, play the cards. The mode would evolve into players playing meta decks anyway since they win. Ben doesn't think it's crazy to pursue the idea, but it's not immediately obvious what the best direction would be. So how in Hearthstone would we make a just for fun deck?
By the light.
I think what you would do is you would have to have an assigned value of cards, and in that assigned value of cards you would have to have a point. So basically there's a Hearthstone, Hearthpawn, Hearth Arena, so many websites out there put a value on cards when you pick a card in Arena. If you have Hearth Arena Helper installed, it tells you that value. So all they would need to do is say, here is the highest number of value you can use. And so certain legendaries would just need to be banned completely. And other legendaries might be playable, but then you would have to play a bunch of common cards. So, for instance, I would imagine Reno Jackson would be just banned completely. Too expensive to play, even if you had 29 of the worst other cards possible. And it would take a decent amount of work, but if they're getting metrics of what cards are being played, which they almost certainly are, they would know what cards aren't being played, and therefore they could give very, very low values to cards that are never played, and then give very high values to the cards that are played all the time. And then you would just have a point system evolved in it. But I don't think they'd want to expose that point system, so that's probably why you would want to do that. Let's see, game customization. Being able to support features in which players could ban certain cards for tournaments play is very compelling, especially at fireside gatherings. They're very focused on fireside gatherings.
By the light.
Like, so, let's see.
Hand is too full.
As far as customization and that idea for me in Hearthstone, if I could by default squelch everybody, if the chat would stay offline when I switch servers, if I could choose kind of a basic background where it's not switching between these colors, these different things to play with, that's kind of all I would want. Like, it's not like there's a ton of things missing. There's some things they could integrate. They could integrate a Hearthstone deck tracker app right into their application. That would save me a little frustration every time I want to stream. They could have a Hearth Arena function that would help a little bit too. Here's YouTube just announcing somebody else's live, but not announcing me.
Pain or suffering, I can't decide.
YouTube is really garbage. Why don't they just make programs instead of black box AI programs that are allowed to do things different than what they're told to do? It seems really ridiculous in many scenarios. Let's see. One thing that would be interesting to see is if they've got any new thoughts on communication in Battle.net in general, because right now all we can do is emote, and then they're adding the whole chat app. So how that all ends up in a final form is a little confusing. Like, will we lose the ability to chat in game? Will that expand? Like they've been going back and forth and adding and then kind of not promoting things for a while now. I think there's a way to even voice chat in Battle.net. Let's see. DICE addresses the Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot box concerns. The complete system was not included in the beta and will continue to be tuned over time. Let's see what there are many. Let's see what they say. There are many things you can earn in the game, including weapons, attachments, credits, star cards, emotes, outfits, and victory poses. That's a lot of the junk. And let's just end the turn. Let's see. As a balanced goal, we're working towards having the most powerful items in the game only earnable via in-game achievements. That's gonna be kind of weird, but okay. I guess maybe they're not using achievements in the same way as I would think of achievements. They may mean you have to actually beat the game or beat a specific boss, not you have to run around in a circle for 5 minutes to unlock an achievement. Let's see. Crates will include a mix of store cards, outfits, emotes, and victory poses. So they're getting really detailed here, probably to gloss over the general complaint, which is they don't want loot boxes in the game at all, and this is ridiculous, and so many games are getting yelled at about this. And the real question will come down to, is this going to encourage anybody to not do this in the future, or are we gonna find that 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 6 years from now, we have even more games with loot crates, and it's just gonna be in every game regardless. It's something that has to be included, because, like, you know, the video game industry kind of does just follow the herd. Like, trading cards are very prevalent in Steam. Achievements are very prevalent on consoles. Almost, I think you actually are required to have achievements in games, or at least you were at one time. So, let's see. There. And then this. And then attack here. And there. Players earn crates by completing challenges and other gameplay milestones, or by purchasing them with in-game credits or crystals or premium currency. So they will nefariously give you challenges, probably daily challenges, things to get you to come back, where you'll have to do something to earn 1 or 2 crates, and by getting you to get a few crates, you'll probably have to go to the store to open them, or at the very least you'll have to think about the store, and so it will just slowly push you back to buying more crates, and keep that in your head at all times. Kind of like how if you go to a casino, there really is no place within the casino that you can't see the gambling happening somewhere. That opportunity to gamble is ever prevalent. I could have actually done a little bit more damage there. If you get duplicate star card in a crate, you will get crafting parts, which you can then use to upgrade this star card of your choice. And lastly, you have to earn the right to be able to upgrade star cards, and unlike most weapons, you can only upgrade and unlock them if you have reached a high enough rank, which is determined by playing the game. So they're trying to make the argument now that regardless if you spend like thousands and thousands of dollars on this game buying in-game crates, you will still have to play the game to use most of the equipment. But that doesn't really change too much, because it's still going to give an advantage to the player. It just means that if somebody spends enough money, they will have this powerhouse of equipment that they can always upgrade to you. So as soon as they're at level 2, they'll have a really powerful level 2 weapon, and as soon as they hit level 3, they'll have a really powerful level 3 weapon. And because they have more powerful weapons than the average player, they will level up faster anyways. So, like, it's real easy to level up when you've got an arsenal behind you because you bought it. Let's see, is there anything else more in this argument? So DICE addresses Star Wars Battlefront loot box concerns is absolutely the wrong title for this PC Gamer article. And I'm going to just start calling out articles like this more and more. And it is going to be a lot of PC Gamer articles because they specifically are the ones that write a ton of articles like this and write a lot of articles that I see. But they have not done anything whatsoever to address the real concern. The concern is that you're taking elements out of the game that you would normally earn when playing a regular game. The way games used to be, the way we liked games to be, the way that you used to make money just fine doing. You're taking those elements out where you earned things through gameplay and now making it into a gambling system. Even if the ESRB doesn't say it's gambling, it's gambling. The ESRB, by the way, came out and said that loot boxes aren't gambling, and I have no idea. That is incredibly stupid to come out and say. They should have been just silent if they wanted to play politics and not say it. But you absolutely know that the PEGI rating system in Europe and the Zero system in Japan and the Australian ratings board, it doesn't have a fancy name, I don't think, all of them are going to come back and compete with the ESRB now and say the exact opposite. Like, they're going to say it is gambling and it will cause you to be rated higher. Which is kind of funny because the Pokemon games used to have like a casino section in a few of their games where you do like a little token-esque gambling in slot machines to win prizes. But certain countries would rate it higher because of that, and eventually they just said forget it. And it will be really, really crazy if Zero does come out and say loot box are gambling, because the Japanese with their pachinko machines kind of love gambling. They don't do real gambling like you would say, like casino gambling, at least not out in the open, because technically it's illegal, but it's the police turn a blind eye to it. Well, let's move on to the next thing. Dragon Age creative director Mike Laidlaw has left BioWare. Let's see. Let's bring up this article. Man, I don't know why my Zoom is not working today. I keep having to resume the page. Mike Laidlaw, lead designer, creative director of BioWare's hit Dragon Age RPG. Is it really a hit series? Like, I think there's been 3 games and like maybe 1 or 2 of them were moderately good. I wouldn't want them to stop making Dragon Age, but it's never really, particularly for me, just personally, been one that's I've wanted to play too much of. In a real way, a lot of that is just kind of fantasy games and fantasy stories are not super welcome. Like, I can only put up with so many of those, and if the big ones are going to be Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings, that's kind of all I can handle. And you might actually say that the Shadow of Mordor and Lord of the Rings games are helping kill Dragon Age a little bit. Take this in return. After 14 years and a chance to work on Jade Empire, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age, it's time to move on. So this probably has a lot more to do with Mass Effect Andromeda and just I wouldn't be surprised if all of it's probably has a lot more to do with that than anything else. And here's like a picture he put up for a Twitter tweet instead of text, so it won't zoom out. Let's see if I can actually read this.
How many fingers do you see?
Why not both? Face the light.
Let's see, it's with a mix of emotion that I'm approaching the time of BioWare's ended after 14 years, a chance to work on Jade Empire, Mass Effect, and all things Dragon Age. It's time for me to go on now. In my time at BioWare, I've worked conferences, blah blah blah. For the near future, I plan to spend time reconnecting with all the amazing games and the world of my peers have created. I look forward to sharing those experiences with Twitch and Twitch. So he's going on to be a Twitch streamer, apparently. At least that's what he's saying.
How many fingers do you see?
This almost certainly is a case of him being fired, because you don't, well, I don't know. In the video game industry, it's not uncommon for people to pretend like they're leaving the industry or they're doing nothing, they have no plans, and then as soon as the 6-month non-compete or the 3-month non-compete clause ends, they're signed up with another company. And maybe that isn't the initial plan. Maybe it is just that the industry really, really likes to hire its friends from within. That could certainly be it too.
I will purify the fallen.
Let's see.
Face the light. Does this hurt?
Let's see. Here's a game. When does this game come out? Because this is just an advertisement for a game, really. Okay, so there's a game called A Mortician's Tale that's going to be released on PC October 18th. And basically, well, how does it play? None of these pictures are loaded either. That's not helpful. Do this. This.
Die as
Kill
you
this one.
lived. Face the light.
Yep, none of these pictures are loading at all. So, you're a magician preparing bodies for burial or cremation. This involves pumping in liquids, shaving them, cutting out pacemakers so they don't explode in the furnace, and sticky spike caps on the eyeball to keep those corpse peepers shut. But it isn't gory, it's stylized, a simple palette in a candy of shades of lilac and mauve. Yeah, I don't think many people want to play that game. So if you want to play a game where you do some of the things morticians do, there's one thing in particular that wasn't mentioned there that's really gross that they also do. But yeah, I don't think I'd want to play that game. There's not even a really good thematic reason why I would want to own a game like that. Like, if you want to play a game that's more around death, I would probably play the game the Shiva, which I already own, and I've been trying to find a good time to play it, but there really isn't. Like, people of importance or just mass numbers of people in general die all the time, and there's never a really great time to play a game like that. Let's see. Next story. Epic is suing 2 Fortnite cheaters. Let's see. Thousands have already been banned from Fortnite, and they were rather proud of that. And I don't know why they're so proud of that, but okay. See, Epic has filed 2 lawsuits, one against Brandon Broom and the other against Charles Veraspir, V-R-A-S-P-I-R, for copyright infringement, breach of contract, and other such bits of legality as a result of cheating. If they're running a website or something like that using copyrighted image, they might have copyright infringement, but breach of contract is not going to work one bit. Because no way well, at least I don't feel like they would really say that a end user agreement is a valid contract, that they could, even if they got them on breach of contract, I doubt they could prove any real damages. And in what other illegality, the DMCA is the only law out there that I know of that is so badly written that it can allow enforcement for things that it really shouldn't.
By the light.
There is a lobbyist group, by the way, that is trying to make a small claims court for copyright. This is a terrible idea, and hopefully it doesn't go through it. And we probably need another Stop SOPA style thing, because if corporations can make small claims, it will make it so cheap for these fraudsters on YouTube to claim they own the copyright and sue people for infringement of copyright, that they will actually do it. And right now we're in this kind of cold war where no company really wants the press or to spend the money to actually sue somebody for copyright infringement unless they're doing something incredibly objectionable. If it is really only $100 filing fee and it's done online, there's like something like a really cheap filing fee, and that the court dockets get open so that more people can get sued. It's really would be terrible. Honestly, I think for the arts in general, copyright should just approach to disappear. Like, because under artistic creations, like, everything is kind of a copy of everything else, and it's not like you're writing a 1,000-page scientific paper. You're usually making a song that's just a small combination of words, often repeated words.
Face the light.
Let's go ahead and take victory. Let's see. This is really a stupid thing for them to do, though. Epic is not good with PR. Like, they really aren't. If they first of all, they've got Blue Hole and PlayerUnknown Battleground complaining about them for stealing the idea, which is a somewhat valid complaint. And they've had other complaints about them in the previous years. And now they're suing players when they should just have banned the players and left it at that. Like, I'm trying to Nevertheless, he continued to play using other accounts he created using false names. That in itself might be tolerable among who hasn't created an alt to bypass the cruel hand, but he also continued to cheat. So they're suing him because he's making alternate accounts, and they can't ban him. I mean, this is pretty much what cheaters do. And isn't this game going to cost some kind of amount to
by the holy light.
let's see this. Yeah, I don't think there's any 1 second.
I must consider. I wonder.
By the holy light. Well met.
Not too quickly. I must consider.
Sorry about that. People knocking on my door for dumb reasons. People don't ever learn. Here, I'm supposed to be playing. Let's play. The thing here, as far as the story goes, it doesn't seem like they actually violated the Digital Millennium Copyright Act in the sense of anything of actually any copyright infringement. They're probably trying to make the argument that they hacked the software, but they didn't hack the software in really a reason to violate the copyright. So they've really just made themselves look awful in this instance, if you ask me. Like, this is not the way to handle cheaters. Just continue to ban them, ban IPs, require people to pay to make accounts, and just take their money and ban them again. Take their money, ban them again. If they're stupid enough to continuously cheat and do that. There was another story, I don't know the full details, where on PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, some streamer was killed by somebody he believes is cheating. Again, these streamers have no way of knowing for in most instances.
How many fingers do you see?
What can look like cheating can often just be a buggy game, and the server lag representing something differently to one player versus the other. But he blamed somebody completely wrong, and naming and blaming people as a famous person is not really acceptable. Sending your fans to harass people, whether you intended it to happen that way or not, is not acceptable.
In the light's name.
Let's see.
Don't be shy.
So yeah, we really need to. I don't know. Maybe YouTube needs to step in, but then I wouldn't trust YouTube to do it. I guess as a society, we need to come out and say, don't. We're not going to follow people, particularly video game streamers, if they're going to call people cheaters, or if they're going to send their fans to harass people. Honestly, I don't know why people would want to follow somebody who's trying to professionally play and stream, and then is so unprofessional that they call them cheaters. Look towards the Olympics. Like, the Olympics is full of cheaters. Entire countries are cheating left and right. There are almost everybody's on steroids in some Olympic events and some other competitions. Like, it happens all the time. But you don't call somebody a cheater. You don't come out there. You don't act unprofessional and make yourself look bad. You just grin and bear it, and you let the officials test people for steroids or whatever. If video games and esports are going to be like the Olympics, we're going to have to take that same attitude. Like, let the companies determine if there's cheating or not. I know these people that are playing get hot under the collar and they say things they don't really mean. Again, PewDiePie, when they're playing. But we're gonna have to learn some decorum and some restraint as streamers and as famous people in general. And if you're following and watching somebody who streams and plays professionally and they don't have decorum, and if they're not acting professionally, I think as the viewers we're gonna have to start demanding that. Like, it's just a game, remember, and none of these streamers' livelihoods are really dependent on you winning at the game. Maybe they lose a little bit of credibility, but that's probably not a big issue. Just continue to play cards. Let's see. Next story we have, the best Dungeons and Dragons board game is now on Steam. Let's see. Lords of Waterdeep is released on Steam in September. I am a little oddly debating about do I even have my clock on, or did I not start it? I don't think I started it. Nope, I didn't, so I have no idea how long this has been going. Interesting. So we probably started around 3, so we're probably about 45 minutes.
Smiles upon the just.
So yeah, let's probably, I'm gonna do something really awful here. Nobody's on the chat. We've been on for 45 minutes. I think I am just gonna do a be right back and take a really long break after this recording. I think these dirty tricks, and I will fully admit to dirty tricks, and I just was talking about cheaters, but I think these dirty tricks with YouTube, where I'm just gonna do be right back and leave it streaming, are kind of necessary to just get people to watch, get people to pop in for a second even. Like, I'm getting less than 10 views on live streams. It's going in the wrong way. Of course, doing these dirty tricks probably only encourages more people to do things like that, but
Job done.
let's see. Maybe I should try the music. That would be an interesting move too. Like, end one stream and then we turn on the chat music. Like, I'm never gonna know if that really works unless people actually see it, so So
Face the light.
maybe I'll
Face
set
the
that
light.
up. Yeah.
Job's done.
So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and see if I can get the Nightbot playlist to actually play music and see if that just gets a bunch of
How many
content
colors do you
ID
see?
claims on the music, or if somehow all of that music is cleared for nobody to claim at all. Like, highly unlikely that would be the case. But see, then that also risks my channel.
It's playtime.
That didn't
Does
quite
this
work.
hurt? Face the light.
Job's done.
Let's see. So, Lords of Waterdeep. Why would you want to play Lords of Waterdeep over Tabletop Simulator? I imagine for Dragons and it would just be a lot more effort to try to play Dungeons and Dragons on Tabletop Simulator, even if somebody's done all of that work before you, whereas a more custom experience of playing Lords of Waterdeep might work. It's a PC port of the tablet version, so yeah. However, that being said, I still kind of feel like people that play Dungeons and Dragons want to play it with their friends, and I don't think you're really accomplishing much by playing online. Let's move on to the next story. Shadow of War players are using an exploit to get unlimited loot boxes. Apparently, script editing tools allow infinite million, which grants infinite silver tier war and loot chests. Interesting. They're using cheat engine scripts to give themselves unlimited million. Let's see. Okay, so that's not the premium currency, though. That's just a silver currency. Using the third-party tool Cheat Engine, which cheaters are known to use. The cheating in Shadow of War to get more things to fix your experience, I wouldn't immediately turn my nose down at it. Like, if that's how they want to play with the product they bought, from my moral perspective, I think that's fine. But I would also say you're not really teaching the creators of the game a lesson, because you already spent the regular money to play it. And it's kind of the same argument of, well, I don't agree with this game for some reason, therefore I'm going to go pirate it. Even when you pirate a game, they probably can get some statistics from that and say, well, people really liked our game even if they didn't buy it. They can always twist those numbers. The only clear and obvious message you can send to people who don't want to hear that message, which is the corporate people that put the loot chests in Shadow of War in the first place, is to not buy the game. We need to have a concerted effort for sales to be lower than what they expected and what they wanted. That way they get the message that it's because of the loot boxes. And that's why we should constantly talk about the loot boxes and say we don't like it because we don't like it. And just because They want to keep doing it, and they want people to forget about it. It doesn't mean we're gonna drop the subject.
Job's done.
Let's see. There's a game called Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus for PS4, launching December 8th in North America. What kind of game is this? Let's see, there's a time attack and a boss rush and playable characters and scenarios, so I think it's a dungeon crawler. When in doubt, if it's a Japanese game, it's probably a dungeon crawler. Hello Neighbor, the game that came out in early access and then blew all of its excitement before I even finished the game, is now getting a physical release by, surprise, surprise, Gearbox Publishing. Gearbox is really swooping in to publish a lot of things. They're trying to establish themselves as a publishing company, but they're not doing a great job, so they must be taking very little cut, and the only companies that are doing any deals with them are really the people that didn't care about the physical releases anyways. Yeah, I would argue it's a coin flip that physical publishing of games and publishers in general might just disappear and become a thing of the past before Gearbox Publishing actually gets to the point where they're adding any value to your game. Let's see, here's a game, interactive food simulator. Designed to make you hungry. What is the name of this game?
How many fingers do you see?
It's an interactive exploration of aesthetics of food. The game doesn't let me play with goals or objective. You can freely... so this is almost a tech demo. I'm looking at an image of a bunch of toast popping out of a toaster. And it's on Kickstarter, so it's called Nour, N-O-U-R, coming out in early 2018 if it gets kickstarted. Doesn't seem like it should be kickstarted, honestly. Let's see, I may have talked about this one. There's a game called Chaos Child. It's out October 24th in North America, out already in Europe. And what kind of game is it? It has mystery, serial killer, see the big picture. I bet it's a visual novel. It's for the PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. Yep, it's a visual novel mystery type game. Man, if they would just put voice acting in all the visual novels.
How many fingers do
I really wish I knew if there was a somebody out there, some fan group that would that would put voice acting on visual novel games, and then, but it would have to be patched in the game, honestly, for me to cover it, because I'm not going to go cover somebody else's YouTube channel if they're if they're just putting voice acting on top of the visual novel gameplay. Oh, well, I'm in a weird position. So I've got Red Phoenix, I see you're here. Hi, you say you have a 6-hour drive at 5 p.m. I've got to do something too, and so I'm going to come back later. So I'm going to end this stream, get the Nightbot music stream playing, and you're going to actually see that page. And I'm going to just see, I mean, this may very well content ID my entire channel, but I'm going to see if we can actually do the Nightbot music and see if this works. Because if I don't ever test this, it's just never going to happen. And then I'm going to come back later and finish Hearthstone. So that's going to be it for this stream. Stay tuned and we'll see what happens on the other. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.